Hi. So I know I just uploaded a video, but I wanted to do another one because I wanted to talk about something else that has really changed since my head injury. And I'm not exactly, I know, I know I now see my mind as a new mind. I call it new mind. It's very different from the person I was before the traumatic brain injury. But one of the things that, to me, it's probably one of the things that because I know I just spoke about memory. I know I just uploaded that video, but there are a lot of things that I, with the new mind, that do, I don't want to say shock me or startle me or anything like that, but there are such significant changes. One of the things is, I, it really pains me to say this, but I know it's true because I know my life and it's weird, but apparently I don't like to cook and bake as much as I used to. Cooking and baking was an extraordinarily fundamental part of my existence. I used cooking and baking as a one way to, I guess, manage a lot of the trauma that I dealt with in my life prior to the traumatic brain injury. I come from an extraordinarily abusive background by the parents. I don't call them parents, actually I call them biological donors because I don't believe, your parents love you, respect you, treat you good, teach you about love. And, I did not have that opportunity with either of the biological donors. But I used, it didn't stop me from doing anything and everything that I wanted in life for the most part. But cooking and baking, I mean, we're talking about creme brulees, pie crusts, yeast breads, and I can still make these things because I did it for so long, that it's like breathing to me almost, right? But I don't do it nearly. I mean, remote, not even, it's not anything like it was before the head injury. And it's been probably since I think so many people consider that to be a really great quality about me as a person that I contributed through cooking and baking, I've actually felt really bad about admitting this. And I actually haven't, well, I think I've admitted it a little bit. Like I've talked about it very, very briefly, but it's something that has changed so much in me that my everyday existence, I do not have the same desires to be in the kitchen cooking and creating and baking and living up to some challenge of food. I'm like, ooh, creme brulee. I studied recipes for a year before I decided to move forward. That's how much I I take things quite serious and, read tons of reviews and also read what other people had done to make it better, set more better, properly, whatever. There were all these things. So, for me, that's something that I no longer do. I mean, I have the capacity. Like I said, it's like fundamental. It's like breathing to me. I've been cooking and baking since I was a very small child. But now I go in the kitchen and I'm like, and I'm eating foods that do not have to be prepared, where the amount of preparation is extraordinarily minute. And before, I would make really elaborate meals just for myself. Just for myself. It wouldn't matter. I would go in there and bake these great dishes with no one to feed but myself. And it's pretty challenging eating a whole key lime pie by yourself. So that's one of the reasons I stopped doing it. But it's not that, because I know I used to be driven to cook and bake, and now I'm like, and I don't want to, and I don't know if it's because I've left the stove on and the stove top on after the head injury. I've kind of done some stuff like that because I know I've talked about that a little bit about the memory, where the memory, it just, that's not memory. Again, that's cognitive function. That's cognitive. That's to just walk away from the stove and leave it on. That's crazy. So, but but I know that's not what it is. It's like I do not have the same desire to create in the kitchen at all. I want to say I don't know why. I know why, but it's probably one of the hardest things for me to wrap my mind around is the fact that I don't have the same desire. It's hard for me. I guess it's hard for me to accept that that's no longer a priority to me. I mean, it was a massive priority in my life. I was always wanting, always looking at new recipes, always looking for a new challenge, always wanting to learn, and then, apply it in the kitchen and take up these challenges in the food department. And now I have a really difficult time finding the desire to really get in there and make all these fabulous desserts, all different kinds of things that I would do. Oh my God, I have tons and tons and tons and tons of photography. Well, because I'm a photographer, of all the food that I would make. Because I am a cook. I'm still going to call myself a cook, but it's not the same. And I don't have the same desire to cook at all like I used to. I'm telling you, I find that, well, first off, it's almost like I feel embarrassed or ashamed of myself in a sense that like I'm somehow no longer contributing to society in that manner or something like that. Because that's one of the things that I used to do, that it was really my thing. One of my many things. I found myself not even doing photography almost recently. And I was like, okay, wait a minute. So I actually went and shot some photos of the moon. I'll actually load them up on the back of this video so you can see them. Because I actually do astrophotography. But it's almost like the brain, the mind is, it's less, it's almost like it's less, I don't know, I feel like I don't have to, I think I used to try and compensate for the lack of family and the lack of all kinds of different things. My mind would try to compensate by going out and doing all of this stuff constantly, like taking new challenges and then acing, right? Acing the creme brulee, acing the pie crust. I aced the pie crust over a decade ago. And so there are a lot of things that I used to do that I really no longer do in the same way. Because when I say new mind, and I know people, there's got to be just millions and millions and millions of people with traumatic brain injury who know exactly what I'm talking about. The new mind is like, I'll just eat this piece of fruit and that'll be a meal for me. Because I don't want to even make scrambled eggs. There's a part of me that's just like, oh, nah. And I cannot tell you how I've stopped making dishes that, I mean, I was creative. I didn't follow others' recipes. I would study recipes and then create my own. And have made some amazing food. Like I said, I have tens of thousands of photographs of food, and just in the last 5 years alone. And so, well, up into the head injury, because then I found myself going, just not the same. Not even remotely the same. No, I have no desire to get in there. But one of the things that's happening too, as frequently, and I know I've talked about this a little bit here, is that my mind will swap words. So if I'm going to say, give me that bottle of vitamins, I might say, give me that bottle of, and it might be Victor or Vicks. But so the words can be very close or similar in some ways, but mostly it's the sound. And for some reason, my brain swaps the words. And so now I'm doing that, and that's very new to me because I've always been a concise communicator as well. And so it's very strange, I think, seeing all of the changes as who I am as a person. I mean, I know there's some big winds kicking up outside. I know that, God, I lost my track of thought. That's new mind. But I think I was saying, I know that I'm very, very, very different now. And it is because of the traumatic brain injury. It's the only thing that correlates to such significant changes. You know, it's not just like all of a sudden I wear my hair one way and it wasn't. No, we're talking about like across the board as a person. And it's funny to me because to be self-aware enough to recognize all these kind of crazy changes, it's like a whole new person. And I know I've spoke about that a lot, but it really is. And something that's really strange, I know I've talked about this too. I can watch a movie and then forget the title and forget a lot of stuff about it. And then like the next day or the 2 days later, I will come across the title, type it into IMDb to say, what is this movie? What is this movie about? And then I'll see the cover or the trailer or whatever. And I'm like, I literally just watched that like 2 days ago. That's happening a lot. Where, you know, it's just so, it's a lot. It's a lot of little things that are, it's a whole new person. It's a whole new mind. And it's bizarre. You know, I was reclusive and non-trustworthy before the head injury. Now I really overthink a lot of things. It's easier to just go, no. And not give it any thought. Like the cooking thing is really a big deal for me. I mean, I love food. But I have I'm like, and I have a well-stocked pantry. You know, 2 refrigerators, freezers, all super stocked. And I'm eating popsicles because it requires 0 effort. And I know it's like easy. I'm like, I don't have to turn the stove on, so I don't have to think about it. I'm not dirtying dishes because I don't want to do the dishes. There's a funny little, I think like a video of this little girl in a little red onesie. She's like, doesn't want to take her dirty bowl and put it in the sink. And there's this whole drama of her taking it across the floor and her father's trying to encourage her. And she's just like, it's killing me. You know, same thing. Same thing. I'm like, I don't want to dirty one dish because I'm going to have to clean them. And I just don't want to participate in that. I'm like, it's too much work. And it's not that I'm lazy. It's like somehow my mind has, it's like it's more, I don't know if I've told you guys this. This is actually nothing short of amazing. When I realized this a couple weeks ago, well, now I think it's been a couple months. Sorry, I lose time. When I realized this, it really kind of freaked me out. I am a typical girl where I would want to have shoes and boots and clothes and new handbags and this and that. You know, like every month or so, every couple weeks, I'd want to go buy something new to add to the collection, whatever. And like whatever time frame it was when I remembered this, I remember it blew me out of the water. I have not purchased a pair of shoes since the head injury. And I'm super frugal with money now. I'm like, I'm literally disgusted by the amount of things that I've purchased that have wasted money. When I have looked at, I'm like, why would any person in their right mind buy this many pair of shoes and boots? I mean, why? But it dawned on me that I had not purchased any shoes since the traumatic brain injury. That is, well, that's never happened before. I've never gone a year and a half without purchasing a pair of shoes in my entire life, ever. And look at money so differently. I'm like, that's not worth it. I'm not paying that for that. They want how much for that pillow? No. it's like I'm so the way I even look at money and see money completely differently. Completely different. It's really weird for me because I really wish I had family members who were in my life so they could see it, because they would really flip out. They would flip out. They would be like, you haven't bought a pair of shoes for a year and a half? That's insane. That's the reality of the new mind. It's not little things. It's everything is different for some people. This is a whole new mind for me. So when I say new mind, I don't know if I've been discussing like everything that's new, but it's a lot. It's shocking to me still, where I'm like, wow, I mean, it's just, but me being frugal with money is one of the funniest things, because I'm like, really, am I really gonna say that pillow or that pair of shoes is just not worth that money? It's totally hilarious to me. Well, that's all I wanted to talk about. The food thing, though, to me, I've been kind of, I don't want to say ashamed, but it's something that I took a lot of pride in. I took a lot of pride in cooking to feed people and to share that with people. And it's become very difficult for me to want to exercise cooking and baking. I've just been like, and it's like a whole, it's all very weird, and I'm only a year and a half into experiencing this new mind. So I know that there are more things to unfold, Like right now, I just got super dizzy and my ears started ringing high pitchy further. I don't know why, but it doesn't matter. I just got a little like dizzy, like just sitting here. All of a sudden, I was like, oh, going over. Okay, that's all. Head Injury Jane here, trying to share just more things that I'm realizing, more things that I'm experiencing, and admitting the cooking thing. I think it's been difficult for me to want to admit that, because that was something that I really truly enjoyed, used as a coping method, and no longer am really attracted to it, even though I want to. Like, I want to make foods, and I'm gonna do like chocolate covered strawberries for Valentine's Day. I love chocolate covered strawberries, so I'm gonna buy the big beautiful strawberries and make them myself, because I actually do. That really doesn't require much. It's melting chocolate. But I may do a few other things. I don't know, but it's just weird for me to now go, no, thank you. I have no interest in, not like I did, not even remotely, and that's bizarre. Okay, Head Injury Jane sharing more of the TBI changes that I know everyone, if you have a TBI and you're experiencing these things, I hope that you do cut yourself breaks, give yourself room to be the new mind. And like I said, it's hard for me to really admit that I no longer cook and bake the same, because the fervor, the whatever did it for me for the cooking and baking really no longer does it for me. And that's just weird. That's just weird for me. Okay. Just give yourself plenty of room to be the new you, and take good care of your heads. Head Injury Jane. Have a good day.